Welcome to the next episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Generation X tournament here on the HomeBoiz channel. Today we're going to have Zane going up against Marcel, Boneapart. So let's take a brief look at these decks here. For Zane's deck, we're going to be looking at a Cyber Dark deck mixed in with the traditional Cyber strategy. So it focuses around these three machine monsters, Cyber Dark, Keel, Horn, and Edge, which can all, on their normal summon, absorb a dragon from the graveyard as long as it's level 4 or lower. And they have a couple of different strategies as far as throwing cards away from the deck, destroying your opponent's monsters, making everything dragons, etc., etc., in order to boost the ability of this Cyber Darks. But when it boils down to it, it still is a machine fusion deck that aims to potentially OTK the opponent. And the side deck is actually giving it a bunch of dragons that give you a lot of searchability. So, you know, you have Claw that can get you your spells and traps, which there's a lot of them now. You have Cannon who can get you your Cyber Dark monsters, and now we have Cyber Dark Chimera who can throw away a spell or trap from your hand in order to get straight to your power bond. So, you know, lots of potential there. There's new cards coming from the, Cyber Dark structure deck as well in order to further boost it. It's definitely a very vicious competitor. And let's take a look at the opponent. Looking at the opponent's deck, we have Marcel Boneapart running the Exodia deck that was run in GX. So it's mostly focused on actually throwing away the 5 pieces in order to either go for the Exodia Necros or for Exodius, the Ultimate Forbidden Lord. Exodius would probably be the better option since Exodius can actually win you the duel via its effect. If not, you can also go for the traditional gathering the 5 pieces with lots of different cards that search and draw, or you can even go for the legendary Exodia Incarnate, which is both a beatdown strategy as well as an instant win strategy by helping you gather all of the 5 pieces. The extra deck is filled with random fusions that you're going to want to remove from play in order to use your Pot of Extravagance to help you draw cards quicker, and that's the entire purpose of the side deck, is to boost the Exodia strategy with lots of draw cards, revival cards here and there to a little bit of protection install, an extra copy of Incarnate and Exodius, and even a copy of Exodia the Legendary Defender, so that if you were to get it with the DNA Surgery, you can also potentially win the duel that way, as long as it kills a Dark Fiend monster in battle. So lots of different ways for Marcel to cheese out a win. I would say these duelists are around equal strength, but without further ado, let the duel begin. Round 1 with Zane and Marcel, and Zane is going to be taking the first turn here, playing just 2 cards face down before passing turn with no monsters on the field. Marcel Boneapart is going to be playing Graceful Charity, which will allow him to draw 3 cards in exchange to throw away 2 cards. So he has a sort of extra edge with either Exodia strategy that he wants to go for here, and he has lots of potential in his hand, and we're going to see him throw away an Exodia piece. So he will be going for the Exodia strategy or for the Necros strategy. Burden of the Mighty is going to make Zane's monsters incredibly weak because it's going to be reducing their attack points the higher level they are. Then we're going to see a face down card and Deep Diver, which Deep Diver is going to go in for a quick 1000 damage. And honestly, Marcel's field is really solid. He has one of his pieces in the graveyard. He has lots of stuff that he can play next turn just by looking at his hand. And Deep Diver, if it dies in battle, will let him pick any card that he wants and put it on top of the deck. So he has probably one of the best openings that he could have asked for here. For Zane's turn, he's going to special summon the Cyber Dragon and actually normal summon Cyber Dragon Dry. Now, Dry on normal summon is going to change the level of all the Cyber Dragon monsters on his field, making them level 5, so that he can go into the Cyber Dragon Nova and Xyz change into the Cyber Dragon Infinity, which is going to be gaining extra attack points for every material. Speaking of material, it's going to be gaining more because it will absorb the Deep Diver to avoid the ability to let Marcel stack his deck and swing in for a powerful 2,900 points of damage, which is almost 3 times as much as Marcel was capable of doing. After setting a monster, he's actually going to go ahead and play Card Destruction here, which is going to force both players to throw away their entire hand and draw a new card or new hand based on how many cards they threw away. So he's only going to be getting 1 and it's actually kind of surprising that he would throw away the Exodius there, but he kind of needs anything he can get to help boost, he kind of needs anything he can get to help the situation over here. Meanwhile, Zane actually got some pretty good cards out of it, so it's not a total loss for him either way. Pot of Greed is going to be activating on Zane's turn, getting to the fusion stage. So now he has both polymerization and power bomb. So lots and lots of potential there. We're going to see the Cyber Dragon Core, and it looks like Core is going to be grabbing the Cybernetic Zone, which it can double somebody's attack points by removing it from play for a while, but the monster won't be lasting for very long. So we're going to see how he's going to use that, if at all. Now he's going to be absorbing the Cyber Dragon Core so that it's not going to be a weak point on his field. Run over the monster, which was Mad Reloader. Now, Mad Reloader would let Marcel draw 2 more cards, but he would have to throw away 2 cards first, which he does not have. So we're going to see it pass over to Marcel with no damage being done this turn. Foolish Burial Goods here is going to allow him to throw away a Stellar Trap from his deck. So he's going to throw away the ultimate ritual of the Forbidden Lord, where when he has the 5 Exodia pieces in the graveyard, he can use this ritual from the grave in order to summon Exodius. So far, he still only has 1 though, so let's see what he can make out of this round here. Going to Zane's turn, he's going to summon the Exploder Dragon, swing for nothing because it can't do damage, so I don't know, maybe he was just taunting his opponent, maybe he forgot, but he's gonna be able to do 3,100 points of damage there, and leaving Exploder Dragon in attack mode isn't gonna phase him because not only will he not take any damage from the fight, but Exploder Dragon will destroy whoever managed to kill it in battle. And Marcel can only respond with the face down monster. I'm curious what his face down cards are. I'll take a look at it in a second. Zane here is going to be now using the Cyber Repair Plant, which he will use to add a monster from his deck to his hand. He's going to go for Cyber Dragon Core to thin his deck even further, getting him down to 33 cards here. And by paying half of his life points, Cybernetic Fusion support will allow him to fusion summon using monsters in his graveyard by removing them from play. He's going to settle for just a normal polymerization, just in case the 2 face downs are something he should be scared of. That way the Power Bond won't end up doing him in. So by banishing 2 Cyber Dragon monsters, he can make the Chimeratech Rampage Dragon, which will now be able to destroy 2 spell or trap cards on the field. He feels like he's safe keeping 1 of the face downs, so he's just going to get rid of Burden of the Mighty. That way he can get back to his maximum attack, and it does in fact look like one of them is a bit of a bluff. He was probably praying that he got more Exodia pieces and then it would be usable. And just to insult him, he's going to remove from play the fusion because he doesn't actually need it to win the duel. I don't know. Okay, here's the Dimensional Prison. So maybe he expected like a Mirror Force or something, but Dimensional Prison will remove from play whatever monster is being attacked or attacking, excuse me. However, Infinity has the ability to detach its different materials in order to negate and destroy any card effect only once per turn during either player's turn. So Deep Diver is going to put another copy of Deep Diver on top of Marcel's deck, and here comes the Rampage Dragon with 4,200. Now, due to the effect of the Cybernetic Zone, during Zane's standby phase, which is coming up right around the corner, he would now officially lose his fusion monster that got its points doubled. But with the trap card Solomon's Law Book, he gets to skip his standby phase, meaning he keeps this 4,200 beat stick forever. And he drew into the Super Strident Blaze, Super Strident Blaze. So, not only can his opponent not use card effects when this fusion monster is attacking, but it will allow him to attack once more. So he has actually an OTK here between the 29 and the extra attacks with this. Round 1 goes to Zane. Going into round 2 now, and it looks like Marcel was really desperate to take the first move, and we actually see that he sided in the Exodia Defender monster. So he's unfortunately not going to open up too strong. He's simply going to T-set and pass turn. Now for Zane, he's going to open up by normal summoning the Exploder Dragon. However, Marcel is actually going to use the trap card Obliterate. So by throwing away Exodia or Forbidden One cards from his hand or his deck, he can send monsters on Zane's field back to that deck once per turn, back to the hand once per turn. So, by getting rid of the left arm of Exodia, there goes Exploder Wing Dragon, which is Dark Zane's only normal summon for this entire turn. With nothing left, he's going to play 3 cards face down and use Card of Sanctity, which will allow both players to draw until they have 6 cards each, letting him draw, what was that, 3 cards? Now he's going to actually go into the Pot of Greed that he also had, which he set face down, so now he has a total of 8 cards in his hand to work with, and with a monster on Marcel's field and no monster on his own, Zane's can summon the Cyber Dragon. Then he's going to use the Attachment Cybern's effect from his hand in order to equip to the Cyber Dragon to give it an extra 600 attack points. He ran into the Deep Diver, so we're going to see a spell card go to the top of Marcel's deck, and it looks like the Contract with Exodia? Yes. Contract with Exodia is a ritual spell card that will let him play Exodia Necros if the 5 pieces are in the graveyard. We're going to see him normal summon the Emissary of the Afterlife with only 16, and he's actually going to use Obliterate to respond to Soul Charge. So first with Obliterate, he's going to be throwing away another Exodia monster, and that is the second piece in order to send Cyber Dragon back to the hand, thus destroying the Attachment Cybern. That way, he has another monster that he can special summon using the effect of Soul Charge, but it looks like he's only going to pick 2 here, so he was probably just getting that out of the way, clearing some space for whatever he's planning next, and by paying the 1,000 points, you know, he'll be able to get those 2 monsters out. Now we're going to see the legendary Exodia Incarnate hit the field, which can be special summoned by tributing a piece of Exodia that's face up on your side of the field, and it gains 1,000 attack, if I'm not mistaken, for every piece that exists in your graveyard. So 16, 2,000 with the Exodia swinging on Zane, but Zane's going to use the effect of Power Wall, which will allow him to throw away cards from his deck to negate 100 points of damage. He's going to be throwing away 20 whole cards from his deck in order to negate Exodia's attack. He chooses not to swing in with the Deep Diver. I don't believe it can attack the turn that it's summoned with Soul Charge, so he's going to pass turn. And during every one of Marcel's end phases, Exodia Incarnate is going to add one of the pieces in his graveyard back to his hand, so he's going to progressively grow weaker and weaker in exchange for allowing him to set up the original Exodia win combo here. Cyber Repair Plant is shuffling a monster back into Zane's deck, and now he's going to special summon another copy of the Cyber Dragon. I believe he used both effects of Repair Plant, so he got a new Cyber Dragon to his hand. Obliterate is going to obviously send the Cyber Dragon back because Zane has Armored Cybern, which could potentially equip onto Cyber Dragon and allow him to start blowing stuff up. Although Legendary Incarnate can't be affected by card effects, I don't believe. Either way, he's going to play it on the safe side, throw another piece in there to power up Incarnate and to fuel his overall strategy and get rid of the Cyber Dragon. But now that Obliterate's been used, Zane can very safely go into the Power Bond ability, and he's going to throw away all the machines that are in his hand in order to fusion summon the Chimeratech Overdragon. Chimeratech Overdragon normally would gain 800 attack points and 1 attack per turn for every single monster that it uses for its fusion summon. Chimeratech Overdragon is going to be sitting at 3,200 attack points. Power Bond doesn't actually boost it, unfortunately, since its original attack technically is 0. I'm not really sure if that's the way the ruling would go, because its original attack becomes something else, but you know, I don't really make the rules of the game. We're going to see an Overload Fusion though, using the Chimeratech Overdragon he just played in order to go for an even more monstrous Chimeratech with 9,600 and the ability to attack 12 times every single duel. We're going to see the Dimensional Prison activate here, however, so Chimeratech Overdragon gets removed from play. So, going back to Marcel's turn, Obliterate's going to activate on Incarnate itself, and since Incarnate can't be affected by anything, he's actually not going to go anywhere, so he actually gets a free Exodia piece sent to his graveyard. We're going to see 1,000, 16, and 3,000 heading Zane's way, for leaving him with 800 life points left. And now Marcel adds 1 more piece of Exodia to his hand for a grand total of 1. He does have the Necros in his hand as well, so he has the potential ritual summon if things go wrong for him. Zane draws into the Cyber Dragon Zwei. Obliterate's going to activate, setting it back to the hand to leave him with nothing to work with. and that is the end of Zane's turn. So for Marcel's turn, he's gonna actually go ahead and tribute summon, it looks like, Exodia, the legendary defender, just to get Incarnate's attack points up higher, obliterate to throw away another piece of Exodia, getting him up to 5,000 points, which now allows him to use Contract with Exodia. So there we have it. He has 5 different Exodia monsters on his side of the field now. Magical Planter just to draw 2 extra cards. He has Card Destruction and a Pot of Greed and a Pot of Desires. He's drawing like a absolute madman. Not that he even needs to. He did manage to go into DNA Surgery, so if Zane ever summoned a Dark Monster, that's an automatic lose for him. Not that he wasn't already in a terrible position. Burial from a different dimension to put his remove from play machines back into the graveyard. He's really just flexing here. Marcel has snatched victory in round 2. Going into a round 3, and Marcel's going to be taking the first turn once again, so Zane decided to go second. We're going to see the Card Destruction activate, so they're both going to lose their hands, and I do got to say, Zane had an absolutely beautiful hand he's going to be losing here. Meanwhile, Marcel loses 3 whole pieces of Exodia, and he Pot of Desires in an Exodia deck as well. So he's going to be removing from play the top 10 cards of his deck face down, meaning it'll be really, really difficult to summon some of those back, just so that he can draw a measly 2 more cards. And he drew into the Pot of Greed to draw 2 more cards. He has a simple T set to pass his turn, but he has only 17 cards left in his deck. And if we take a look, he lost Graceful Charity, he lost Exodius, Burden, Pot of Avarice, and Dimensional Prison, but the risk paid off because he did not banish a single piece of Exodia. So his deck is still very much live and active. Zane's going to use Fusion Sage here to search for Polymerization, and he's going to actually activate it here using 2 Cyber Dragons for the Cyber Twin Dragon with 2,800 attack points. Then after setting 2 cards, he's going to activate the Card of Sanctity, allowing them both to draw until they have 6. With an empty hand, Zane gets 6 whole brand new cards, while Marcel only is going to get 2. But first he's going to activate Obliterate, which will send the Cyber Twin Dragon back into the extra deck, so his efforts were for naught. Now he has a second piece, I believe, sitting in his graveyard. No, 4th piece. I'm so sorry. I forgot that he opened up with so many. Card of Sanctity gives him a new hand, though. So here we're going to see Zane activate the Cybernetic Horizon, which is going to throw away 2 dragon and or machine monsters in order to add 1 from his hand and deck. In order to add a dragon or machine cyber from his deck to his hand. So he's going to go for attachment cyber, and it looks like, and he was able to throw away the cyber and dragon on top of that. So we're going to see what he's going to end up doing with that. Pot of Greed on Zane's side of the field as well, and with no monsters on his field and a monster on Marcel's, Cyber Dragon Core can remove itself from play from the graveyard in order to special summon a Cyber Dragon monster straight out of the deck. Zane's going to go for the Cyber Dragon Dry and normal summon the Cyber Dark Keel. So Keel can now absorb a dragon monster in the graveyard. He's going to absorb the Cyber Dark Claw. We're going to see the effect of Attachment Cyber and give somebody an extra 600 attack points. So Keel now has 3,000 attack, and it can do 300 extra points of damage if it kills a monster. Dry runs over the Mad Reloader, and Marcel's going to use its ability, allowing him to throw away 2 cards from his hand to draw 2 more cards. But right after, Cyber Dark Keel is going to do 3,000 damage, and whenever somebody attacks while equipped with Cyber Dark Claw, Zane can throw away a fusion monster from his deck. So he's going to throw away the 5-headed dragon, or as some people know it growing up, the 5-god dragon. During Marcel's turn, Obliterate's going to send the Cyber Dark monster back to his hand, getting rid of Attachment Cyber and getting rid of Claw, in exchange for the legendary Exodia Incarnate from his deck. Now he's going to use the Foolish Burial Goods to put the contract or the ultimate ritual in his graveyard. He's going to Soul Charge for just a single piece of Exodia, sacrifice it for legendary Exodia, which now has 5,000, and with 5 pieces in his graveyard, here we have Exodia Necros as well. Exodia Necros only has 1,800 attack and no defense, but it gets 1 different effect for all of the 5 different pieces in the graveyard. So now it can't be destroyed by battle, by spells, or by traps, or by your opponent's monster's effect. And at the end of the damage step, when it battles a monster, no matter who attacks 2, it will gain 1,000 attack points. Then we're also just going to see the Deep Diver for an extra 1,000 on the board. Exodia Necros is going to attempt to crash into the Cyber Dragon Dry since it can't die. Cybernetic Overflow is going to activate, but we have 2 monsters that it's not able to blow up. So removing from play Cyber Dragons on his field and graveyard. He's going to get rid of Obliterate instead. And Necros is going to have the ability to attack Zane directly for 18, Incarnate for 5,000, and Deep Diver for 1,000, leaving Zane with only 200 life points left. The right arm of Exodia is going to be added back to Marcel's hand due to Incarnate's effect, so a Necros will lose the ability of gaining attack points, and it is Zane's turn. He draws a Call of the Haunted Trap. He's going to special summon, though, the Cyber Dragon onto his field since he has no monsters, and then activate the Cyberdark Impact, which will let him take the 3 different Cyberdark monsters, shuffle them back into the deck for the Cyberdark Dragon. Now, it has 1,000 base attack points, but it gets 100 attack for every single card in Zane's graveyard, which he has 14, bringing it up to 2,400. But when you fusion summon it, it can also absorb any level dragon from the graveyard. So absorbing the 5,000 attack 5-headed dragon brings it up to 7,400, swinging over the Exodia Necros for game.